One of the practice owners that I coach recently had her biggest month yet. She's a fairly young cash-based practice, and she did $68,000 in all out-of-network cash pay revenue. So she was super excited, so was I. And then when we looked at some of the other KPIs and numbers in her practice, she was really shocked to find that in that record month, her receptionists were only converting about 38% of prospective qualified lead phone calls into cash pay customers. Now think about that for a second. She did $68,000 in cash pay revenue, while roughly 6 out of every 10 prospective patients actually did not become a cash pay customer. I sent out an email about this recently, and I got some replies asking for clarity on some of this crazy math that came out of this situation as we analyzed it. I'm going to walk you through right now exactly how very small, extremely achievable improvements in conversion rate with the right system, right conversion system and scripting, can result in incredibly big revenue and profit increases. So let's get into it. Now, I wasn't notably surprised by the 38% conversion rate because I've been doing this for 15 years in my own practice and coaching hundreds of practice owners along the way, really looking at the actual data. And what I've seen time and again, like 9 times out of 10, if a practice owner isn't accurately and specifically tracking conversion rates, they almost always are overestimating how things are going on the phone and how high their conversion rate is. Whether they're doing the calls or the receptionist, either way, they think it's, oh yeah, we're probably getting 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. And then when we actually get them to track it, it's like, oh shit, I'm converting 52% and leaving a ton of revenue on the table. So let me ask you a question. In this situation where this practice owner did $68K with only 38% conversions, if she wants to average $83,000 a month and have $1 million cash practice, does she need more leads? Think about it. More specifically, does she need more leads than she's getting right now? Does she need to increase her marketing? Does she need to increase her lead flow at all to achieve $1 million cash-based practice? So let's look at the math and the numbers that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so here she is, current $68,000 a month at 38% conversion rate on the phone. Now, to get to a little over $83,000 a month, that's about a $15K difference per month, right? Now, we're talking about long-term averages here, and I know that this was her first month to hit 68K, but for math's sake, we're looking for a 15K or a little more than 15K increase in her monthly revenue above the 68K, and that equates to 22.5% increase in revenue. From 68 to 83 is 22% increase in revenue. Now, what conversion rate do you think gets there? Now, a lot of people, and this is what people replied to me about, it was, wait a minute, you said she only needed a 46% conversion rate, but I thought she would need around 60%. Right? And no, a 22% increase is not an increase in the overall conversion rate number. It's 22% above the number 38 where she's starting. And when you run those numbers, you only need about a 9-point difference, or about 47%, if we're rounding up, conversion rate. That is still well below what most of my coaching clients are getting with a little bit of training. And we've already started her receptionist on that, and we're already seeing big improvements, way above this number actually. So I just wanted to kind of point out that a relatively small increase in conversion rate points can lead to a pretty darn sizable, 15K per month increase with, and again, this is really, really important, with no increase in the amount of leads that she already has and is already attracting month over month. And that's a point I really want to drive home here, because when we survey practice owners somewhat frequently, and every time we do and we ask, like, what is your biggest challenge? What do you feel like is the biggest restraint to your growth? Usually between 60 to 75% of practice owners are saying lead generation. I need the phone to ring more. I need more leads. But then again, after 15 years of doing this, the practice owners, we look under the hood. We really look at all the numbers from throughout the patient life cycle, from lead numbers to conversion rate on the phone to conversion rate at the first visit, to full plan of care completion, to post-discharge reactivations, word of mouth referrals, on and on and on, right? We look at it all. The vast majority of the time, the problem that the practice owner thinks they have is lead generation. It actually is not their biggest problem or opportunity. The majority of the time, the conversions on the phone is the biggest issue holding them back from the growth that they want from filling the gaps in the schedule. Now, I'm not anti-marketing. I'm huge on marketing. Of course, you have to have a sufficient number of people picking up the phone and calling, and some practices do need more lead flow. But if you have leads coming in, if you've got the phone ringing, and you're not converting at least 80% of those qualified leads into cash pay customers, then spending more money on more marketing is like pouring more and more water into a leaky bucket. So let me ask you another question. What do you think is easier? Going to the person who handles your new patient phone calls and training them on a proven system to convert more of those calls into cash pay patients, or hosting more workshops, meeting with more referral sources, writing more blogs, posting more on social media, running more ads or new ads? I mean, what's easier? Next question. What do you think costs less? Training your front desk to convert more of the leads you're already getting, or hiring another marketing agency or spending more on ads just so you can generate more cold leads that your front desk struggles to get 50% or more to actually convert? Again, I'm not saying stop marketing. I'm just saying before you spend more money to generate more leads, find out what's happening to the leads you're already generating. Because this is where most practices that I coach have a huge blind spot before they start working with me. I mean, right now, can you tell me what is your actual phone call conversion rate? What does your front desk say when the first thing out of the caller's mouth is, do you take my insurance? If it doesn't happen then, at what point in most conversations does the insurance and pricing topic actually come up? How are they guiding those conversations? When people don't book, why are they not booking? Why are they saying no? And then once someone has called and didn't book, what is your process and how good is your team at following up with those people who haven't booked in that moment to see if they can get them to book later on down the road? If you don't have the answer to all of those questions and you have gaps in your schedule or you're not growing as fast as you want, you are guessing about where that growth issue is actually coming from. And if you're like the vast majority of other practice owners, especially in the cash pay world, it's probably coming more from a lack of conversion rate than it is from a lack of leads. Now imagine the alternative. Imagine that whoever answers the phone in your practice has a proven framework on how to guide those conversations. They know how to answer the do you take my insurance question such that it doesn't end the conversation right there. They know how to differentiate your practice from the other options they have in the area before price is discussed. They know how to uncover the real drivers of decisions in your prospective patients. They know how to handle all the most common objections that come up and even the less common objections. And they know the right way to follow up with those who said no on the front end so that maybe they turn them into a yes later on. And for you, imagine being able to coach them through that process, find where the leaks are in your conversion process, and maximize the amount of conversions and new patients you're getting from the leads and marketing that you're already doing. And this is exactly why I decided to put together the Cash Pay Conversion Summit. On November 13th and 14th here in Austin, Texas, I'm bringing together a small group of cash practice owners to focus on and fix this pervasive problem that I find in almost all cash practices out there. This is not going to be 2 days of me talking to the audience and you taking notes. It is a hands-on tactical workshop where you and your team, whether they're in person or virtually, are going to customize the cash pay conversion system to your practice, to your audience, to your offer. And then you and your team with me, you're going to actually practice and insert this system so that on the Monday after the summit, you're able to immediately be converting more of those phone calls into cash pay customers. So if that sounds exciting to you, click the button below. You can check out all the details. If it feels like the right fit, I'd love to see you here in Austin.